in so you can see it. 2 clubs. There you go. Square everything up. It's palmed. 2 clubs right there. Yes, I'll get to it. I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. Hi, and welcome back. Today, I will be teaching you a move I came up with a couple weeks ago. It's a way to palm a card, but it has a lot of different options and opportunities to become something else. And I will additionally be teaching you about 2-3 small, short routines that this move can be utilized in. Because sure, there's a lot of ways to palm cards. There are a lot of ways to palm a card invisibly. This is just a way that I came up with to palm a card seemingly invisible while still the spectator thinks that their card is there. And I have performed this for magicians as well, and my friends who are also magicians, and friends, family, and my co-workers, and none of the people there have spotted the move. Even my magician friends have not spotted the palming of the card. So hopefully you will enjoy this as well. Obviously, you're going to be looking out for a palm when you see the performance here in just a minute, and then hopefully you'll also see the opportunities that this palm could have, because I'm pretty proud of it. But let's get right into a performance of this trick. So without further ado, let's see what this move can look like. Where a card is selected like this, pushed into the deck, just like that. You manage to palm off a card, the selected card, of course. All right, now that you've seen it, now that you've seen the performance, of the trick or the move, I will get into a little bit of history. How did I end up coming up with this move? And it wasn't so much coming up with it. It's not like I sat down and thought, oh, I want a really cool way to palm off a card and no one's gonna see it. I want this specific thing. Not at all. I've just been sitting with some cards, doing what I do, just having fun. And culling some cards, and I realized, oh, I could cull a card and then I can palm it, which, isn't a rocket science. It's not something that's super special. But then it sort of evolved into this, oh, look, I have a card here, and then I turn, and then people can still see their card, but I've palmed it seemingly invisibly, which is sort of what it became. And then I tried to say, oh, this is cool. What other routines can you do with this besides just having a card being palmed? You can actually use palming cards for different things. So let's get into learning this. Look at this. No breaks, no cuts. I'm gonna look very much away. You say stop whenever you want. Actually, say stop. I know you're sitting there watching. Say stop. Remember that card. I'm not looking. You're thinking of a card. Ace of Spades. There you go. Alright, let's get into how this move actually works. The mechanics of this is actually surprisingly simple. Oh, I flashed there, but you see I palmed off the card anyway. It works very, very simply. When you have the spectator point to a card, let's say it's this one, you want to make sure you have a card behind it to push forward. So you line these up like that. See how they're lined up? Now you keep 2 fingers on this card and a thumb on the back of this one. That means that when you go down like that, when you do this, you actually swap them like that. On top of the swapping, what you will also do is rotate this card. That's why you have 2 fingers on it, so you can rotate it while pushing this up. And that happens in the movement of bringing your hands down. So it would look like this. If card is selected, you rotate. I'm flashing a little bit here, but it's still nearly invisible. If you want it to do it perfectly, you want the card to be completely matched up with the deck like that, like here. And then after you've done this, what you do when you square everything up, you can palm this card. It's not going to be the cleanest palm, at least not without practice, but you can easily adjust it into a proper palm. And then, you square everything up, you just let your hand drop. This is much easier to do, or at least you don't flash as easy if you turn your body to the side and let your hand drop. Also, a good tip is to let it swing a little bit, so you don't just drop it and let it stay here, and you drop and let it swing for a bit. I believe I made that mistake in the performance where I dropped and then I didn't swing it at all, but it is generally nice. It gives the feeling of emptiness in your hand. So again, you bring up a card, and as you go down, you rotate and push forward with your thumb. You square everything up. I was almost say copying that card, but that's a different palm. Palming the card, letting your hand drop, and the spectator believes their card is right here, which is very powerful when you think about it. In reality, it's not. It's right here. And that is what can get you in to some of these routines we'll be teaching, or I'll be teaching. Now that you know how the move works, perhaps you can also see some possibilities for what you can do with this move. So now let's get into 2 routines. You can do a card transfer. You can also do like a time paradox thing with this. Or additionally, you can also just do whatever other trick that allows you to palm off a card. You could do a card to wallet if you have, for example, the Nexus wallet by Javier. Or just open up your phone case and slide your card into the phone case. So there's loads of different options for you to do just by having palmed off a card. But now let's get into those 2 routines. All right, so here is the first routine, which is sort of like a time paradox routine, if you could say so, where you have a card selected. In this case, it's the 3 of hearts, and that card is then left out in the deck, and you say something odd is also you have a card in your pocket. This obviously can't be the card that you selected because that's here. But you'll see when I do this, it looks a little more possible that this right here could in fact be that card. But look, I'll put this aside and you'll see that the 3 of hearts has actually vanished completely. It's nowhere to be seen in the deck, and the spectator can check that out themselves. And all of a sudden, the possibility of this being their card seems very, very clear. And so they turn it around, and it is in fact the 3 of hearts. That is one of the routines, the sort of like a time paradox. And I shouldn't really be needing to give any explanation for this, because all you need to do is to show a card, execute the move, which I'm not executing very well, I keep flashing. Pretend to take a card out of your pocket. A nice tip is to actually put your hand in your pocket. Obviously you'd have to flip the card, otherwise it's gonna flash. But put the card in your pocket, bring out the card, and you say that can't be possible because you have it right here. But if you do this, it looks more possible, and then you can go through the deck and say that it's not there. So that is the first routine. All right, now for the second little routine, which is a transpo. What you can do is this. You see, okay, look, we have the 7 of diamonds just like before. I'll actually put it in my pocket, just like that. And then we will be taking yet another card from somewhere in the deck. Let's say we take this one, the 4 of clubs. This is what we do. We take the 4, we leave it there, and in my pocket, I'll bring out the 7. Now this is the weird thing, because if I cross my hands, now this is the 4, but the 4 should be here, and this was supposed to be the 7, so where's the 7? The 7 is of course here. That is the transpo. Ooh. Alright, so here's the explanation for the card transpo. Very, very simple. You're gonna perform one of these fancy moves, which I have forgotten the name of completely. But we'll get around it. I'll teach it. Essentially, what you want to be able to do is just put a card out, pull it back while turning your hand. That's it. You push out the card, pretend to grab it, and the moment your fingers close, turn your hand, and you don't even need to pull in the card. You can essentially just do that. I still have the card out, as long as you just turn your hand. But I highly recommend that you pull back the card. So you do that. People will think the card is there, especially if you start off saying, look, we got the King of Focus. Oh my God, focus. The King of Spades. We'll take the king, we'll put it in my pocket, and then they'll believe it there. It's there. There's many different ways you can do this. You can do this too, which is another way of doing it. You can do like these, where you have a card and then you palm it off, and voila, gone. Okay, this won't work for this trick because then it's going to be face up here. But I'm nerding way too much about ways to make a card vanish like that. But point is, you want to take a card, you want to show it, Jack of Clubs, will put it in my pocket. You don't actually put anything in your pocket. You give the card cut or some of this. What I do there is simply just, I take off some cards, grab it with my thumb and index finger, pull it over, grab another stack, and I take my pointer finger and I put it by the back where my thumb is, and I rotate that around and let it drop into my hand. And as I let it drop, I keep a break, because the jack is right there. That's where the jack is, and then put the rest on top. Then I go through, and I know my jack is here. Obviously, I don't want to display the jack, so I take the card after it, and then the card that will be swapped out will be the Jack of Clubs. So I show the card. In this case, it's the King of Spades, and I execute the move. And now what I got here is, of course, the Jack of Clubs. Square everything up, and of course, flash, as I always do, and then pretend to take out a new card, which will be, of course, now that will be the king, and the jack will be here, and then you have yourself a little fun transpo. Yeah. Alright, that was it for today's video. I hope you've learned something that you can use. It's one of the moves that I've been using a lot for the past couple of weeks. Like I said, it's not that long ago that I came up with it, but I have been using it quite a lot. So I hope you will too, and hopefully you will enjoy it. And if you like the video, if you want to see more of it, please leave a comment or a like or subscribe. That shows me that you want to learn more of these things. So without further ado, remember to drink some water. Have a good time. Okay, a little disclaimer. I actually do not know if this is original or not. All I know is I have not seen it anywhere else, and I've just sort of played around and came up with this move as I just played around with the cards, but I don't know if it's original or not, so keep that in mind.